One question came up for me as I listened to you is when we say there are climate tipping points, um, when we look at biodiversity, are there some specific tipping points or fragile, like more fragile points that we should be aware of, like same as the tipping points in climate that are important for us to know about because they are more fragile in the biodiversity
Yeah.
conversation? Maybe you can speak a bit to that.
Yes, there are many ecosystemic tipping points, right? Tipping points of ecosystems, and that applies to different scales, very local scales. So there are tipping points of small patches of forest that begin to collapse because they're just not reliable. Says they are not viable. They can't sustain themselves vis-a-vis, for example, climate change. There are tipping points at the eco-regional level. The Amazon, for example, we have deforested already enough Amazon that an extra 15, 20%, perhaps less, perhaps even close to 10, will begin to affect what the Amazon is doing to itself, meaning generating rain through evapotranspiration of the trees. So if you cut enough trees, there won't be enough rain, enough water vapor generated by the Amazon itself that will sustain the rainforest of today. And so the forest will begin to change into savannas like the one in Africa, with incredible consequences for the climatic system globally. So that's another example. Plankton in the ocean is another fascinating, terrifying tipping that nobody talks about, but it's probably one of the most dangerous of all. Plankton today, phytoplankton, is generating half of the oxygen and absorbing a CO2 from the atmosphere equivalent to 4 Amazon rainforests every year. So phytoplankton is subject to stress from rising temperatures, but particularly from the absorption of CO2 in the ocean water that makes it more acidic. And to up until a certain level of acidity, it's fine, but beyond that, that's the tipping point. Phytoplankton will begin to collapse with all the implications that I just mentioned: oxygen production, CO2 absorption, which will then create a negative feedback loop, exacerbating climate change and accelerating it. Further global warming. Amazon and phytoplankton, 2 examples, but there's so many others.